Welcome to the Militia Gaming community. I'm Trigger and I'm back with another wrong build video. This time the 2017 Lamborghini Aventador S Roadster. Let's go. Real quick before we get into the video, if you're looking for a level 50 crew or perhaps some guides on rep or gaining money in Need for Speed Heat, I just updated my website at militiagamingco.com. I have links to all of my best guides, ways to make money, how to run from cops, how to make rep, and even a link to our Discord so that you can find yourself a level 50 crew. There are tons of them in our Discord, so don't be shy. Go ahead and click that link and then join and you can find some level 50 crews in there. All right, let's get into the video. So the first thing I like to do on these wrong builds is give you the best engine for the car. In this case, there is only one engine that worked for all four builds, and that is the 903 horsepower 3.8 liter V8 hybrid. It ran an okay time of 259.5 on Arian, which if you've ever watched any of my other wrong builds, you know that you're trying to shoot for around 3 minutes on Arian. Anything under 3 minutes on Arian is considered decently fast. Anything over 3 minutes on Arian is going to be definitely in the slow category. So this car is a 259.5 on Arian, which actually ranks it about 42nd on my list. And keep in mind, there's about 130 cars and about 76 that I've tested. So 42nd is actually in the bottom half of the cars that I've tested, even though it ran a time under 3 minutes. So just so you know, 3 minutes is about the midpoint for me behind the wheel. So I'm looking for times underneath that. Anyway, on Sonic, it ran a 245.3. Again, that is really middle of the pack. So there's nothing super special about this Aventador S Roadster other than the fact that it looks amazing. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful cars in Need for Speed Heat, and you have to add this to your garage. You must buy this car and put it in your garage simply because it looks awesome and it's a great bragging piece just to have in the garage for looks. That being said, let's go ahead and give you the track build now. It's a 903 horsepower 3.8 liter V8 for the engine, Ultimate Plus engine parts, and dual turbo with a 5x3 pound NOS. We're using Super Track suspension, Elite brakes, Elite race tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Super Track differential, NOS refills, and NOS duration as always. And then here's the part that's really important is your live tune settings. Steering sensitivity all the way up at +5, downforce all the way down at -5, traction control off, and drift style on brake. This is important. I usually leave my drift style on gas, but for this build, it needs to be on brake. Otherwise, this car will not drift any corners when you're racing. All right, let's move on to the drag build. So I really anticipated this car doing well in a drag application simply because while I was testing it on the track, it jumps off the line. I mean, it really has a lot of traction. It hooks up and takes off when you're starting the races. So I really thought as a drag car with drag tires, this would be a really fast quarter-mile car, but it really isn't. It ranks about 50th on my list, which is in the bottom half once again, and you're looking at a quarter mile of about 8.9. Again, just not very good, and a 0 to 60 of 1.83. So overall, it's just sort of lackluster. It's not the worst drag car in the game, but it's definitely not the best, and it's nowhere near the top 20. That being said, though, here is my drag build. So we got that same 903 horsepower engine. We've got the Ultimate Plus engine parts, dual turbo, and the 1x15 pound NOS. We got Super Track suspension, Elite brakes, Elite drag tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, Super Track differential, and then NOS refills and NOS duration. We keep the live tune exactly the same as the track build because for drag applications, you really just want to make sure your downforce is at -5. And it was already there. So let's move on to the drift build. Drifting this car actually was pretty fun. It's very controllable. It is kind of a little too fast, which means it has a little too much traction, but it really is controllable. It's easy to switch from left to right. Transitioning is no problem. It does not score super high. On this particular drift section, I was able to score right around 50,000 pretty much every time, sometimes under, sometimes over. But this car is just not a high score, which means it doesn't carry a big drift angle. And that makes sense because it's really a track monster. It's supposed to be good on the track, and you're not going to have super high turning angles for a track monster like this. So anyway, this makes a lot of sense. It's an okay drifter. It's something you can definitely go out and 3-star all of the drift events with, but it's going to take a little bit of finesse. It's going to take some work. You, the driver, is going to have to be pretty good in order to do it. So there are much better drift cars out there. That being said, like I said, it is fun to drift around. So if you want to use my drift build, go for it. Let's throw up the build card. It is the 903 horsepower engine again, same engine parts, dual turbo and 5x3 pound NOS. We've got the super showcase suspension, elite brakes, elite drift tires, elite plus clutch, elite 7-speed gearbox, the sport drift differential, and then NOS refills and duration. And then of course we have steering sensitivity all the way up at +5, downforce at -5, traction control off, and I would keep the drift style on brake. It does better with the brake as your drift style. All right, lastly, let's take a look at off-road. So in driving this car on the track and testing it, I really had zero expectations for off-road. I really felt like this was gonna be a slow car, and I was right. It ranks at about 62, 63-ish on my list, and that's going to be out of like 75, 76 cars that I've tested, so it's not very good at all. On HTV2, it ran a time of 154.8, and on Rumble, it ran a 324.1. That is absolutely god-awful. This is not a good car off-road. It clips a lot, it doesn't have any top speed in the dirt, and it's just not a good car overall. It just doesn't feel great to drive. So with that said, if you do want to drive it off-road, here is my off-road build. That same engine parts, and dual turbo with the 5x3 pound NOS. Super rally suspension, elite brakes, elite off-road tires, elite plus clutch, elite 7-speed gearbox, and super rally differential. We've got NOS refills and duration, and then steering sensitivity at +5. And here's the trick: downforce at 0. If you leave the downforce at -5, it is way too slippy. I mean, you go around a corner and it just takes forever to gain traction again. So you really want that downforce at 0, or even higher than that if you can control the car. You can move the downforce up a little bit, but I'm going to keep mine in the middle at 0. Traction control off and drift style on brake. Hey, before I go, shout out to all the Heat 5 members of the channel. If you want to see your name up here with the rest of these legends, all you have to do is click the join button below and become a Heat 5 member. By doing this, you'll be supporting the channel in ways you will not believe, and you get all kinds of sweet perks like members only streams and specific exclusive Discord channel access. And with that, guys, I will end the video. I really appreciate everyone's support on this series. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I'm going to keep making these all the way up until the new game comes out. So thank you so much for watching. Shout out to all the Militia subs. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.